All right, this is a 30-second warning. Okay. Yeah, I was trying. Okay, we're gonna come back into the meeting. Commissioners, we're gonna come back into the meeting. Okay, we're gonna come back into the regular order of business. Mr. Winningham, if you want to come back up, I will. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go back into the regular order of business. I hope everybody can be calm. We'll get through this. We'll do the interviews. We're going to go through the questions the same way that we have for the last interview for the 7th Ward position. We all have our packets in front of us. So Commissioner Burney, you are first on the first question for Mr. Winningham. If you would like to start us off. If you don't want to, we can move on and skip you.
I'd like to abstain from everything because I'm sorry. The thing is that I haven't read about you.
Okay, Commissioner Burney, if you're just passing, that's it. No, if you're out of order, if you continue, you're going to be removed from the chambers. That's not how this works. You are out of order.
The record will reflect that Commissioner Burney has abstained from the interview process. We will skip you throughout the process if that's what you like. Fair?
Yes, I would.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Brunner, you have the honors of the first question.
Thank you very much and good evening. Tell us why you're interested in being a member of the Bay City Commission.
City, there we go, microphone on. I'm a teacher, I should know that. Always look for the green light. So as a nation, we get so bogged down in the national political scene and in the shadow of a recent election. We know that that is indeed important, but what happens locally oftentimes has a more immediate impact on our daily lives as citizens in our communities. Now, my family is not native to Bay City. My grandpa and grandma moved their family here in the 1940s so he could teach at Emmanuel Lutheran School at 10th and Lincoln. My mom and her oldest siblings were born here and began school here. When the family moved away in the 1960s, they returned every summer to the Bay City area to visit and to enjoy the water. I grew up visiting Bay City often, many trips a year for family gatherings, for funerals, for celebrations, and enjoying what the city has to offer. When myself, my wife, and our 4 children had the opportunity to move back to Michigan in 2018, we chose to live in Bay City, specifically in the city limits of Bay City. We looked at many communities in the region. Since she teaches at a parochial school in Frankenmuth and I teach at Valley Lutheran High School in Saginaw, we chose Bay City because of what it had to offer our family. There are so many opportunities for recreation, parks, walking, biking, jogging, restaurants, amazing downtown, many shopping and restaurant districts, libraries, and the list could go on and on and on, including one of my personal projects, which I made a spreadsheet of all the local neighborhood dive bars, and we're slowly trying to hit them all, but that is one heck of a project, let me tell you. But Bay City is an absolutely wonderful place to live, to enjoy community, to prosper, and to thrive. I'm interested in becoming a member of the City Commission because all residents of Bay City should have the opportunity to prosper and thrive in their community. To be able for this to happen, we have a lot of work to do. We have many issues with infrastructure, poverty, homelessness, addiction, population loss, jobs, with economic growth, and so much more. I want to be a part of the dialogue, part of the problem solving, and a part of creating a Bay City where all residents are proud of where they live and can prosper and thrive together. That is why I would like to be on the Bay City Commission.
Thank you very much.
Please discuss your prior experience working with civic, community, or governmental organizations.
Sure. Service is a really important core value to me, and I've sought out many ways to serve in the various communities that I belong to. This service has been in local community, the extended region, and in organizations that I personally prioritize and believe in. My recent involvement has included at the city level the Bay City Brownfield Commission since last year, and there's a lot of really exciting projects coming down the pipeline, even ones you're talking about tonight, to put blighted land back into good use. I've also organized many service projects and opportunities at school that have benefited Bay City and the Saginaw regions. That includes cleanups at Bay City State Park, blanket drives for the homeless, food drives, clothing drives. For the last number of years, I've served on the board of directors for LAMP, which is the Lutheran Association of Missionaries and Pilots. This is an organization that connects volunteers with remote First Nations communities way up in northern Canada. I served on the executive committee as an at-large member on the Saginaw Valley American Guild of Organists. This organization promotes and sponsors cultural events in the region related to the king of instruments, which of course is the pipe organ. Also, I've served on many different leadership roles at school, especially on accreditation teams, which involves a fairly grueling process of just self-reflection within the school, within the organization, identifying strengths and weaknesses, and then of course making specific measurable goals for immediate and future improvement.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Winningham, for coming. So the third question is, what do you perceive your responsibilities to be as a member of the Bay City Commission?
Sure. I see three main things as I contemplate what this role potentially is. Number one responsibility is to be transparent and to be accountable. The First Ward Commissioner serves a constituency of about just under 3,000 registered voters, probably about 4,000-ish people total. Commissioners serve the people first and foremost and absolutely must be accountable for their actions, words, and decisions. Transparency is also vital, not just from the character integrity standpoint, but also for the sake of public trust. The constituents of the First Ward and of Bay City as a whole need to have trust and confidence in their commissioners, and that is built on a foundation of transparency and accountability. Second would be being responsive to the needs of the ward. This includes learning of residents' concerns about whatever issues they have, specifically ones that local government can address. This includes learning of the concerns of local businesses as we seek to support them since they build the economic foundation of our city. And also includes getting feedback from local churches, charities, and community organizations that oftentimes have a pretty good pulse on their neighborhoods and the trends and issues that people are experiencing. The third, of course, is being a problem solver through dialogue and consensus. Getting feedback from citizens and businesses helps identify areas of strength, weakness, and need. The ultimate responsibility of a commissioner is to make Bay City a better place to live, work, and play through the legislative process. A lot of things to be worked on. I know there's lots of disagreement even in this chamber, but consensus ultimately has to be reached that is good for all residents. Effective government, after all, will seek out solutions and not only address immediate concerns, but also plan for a sustainable future for decades to come.
Thank you for that, and thank you for coming in this evening. Based on your knowledge of the city, what do you feel the top 3 priorities should be for the city, and how does that incorporate into your vision for Bay City over the next 10 years?
So to build a better Bay City, a prosperous and thriving Bay City, and even a sustainable Bay City, there's actually 3 major categories that I would prioritize. These 3 categories must be holistically addressed to make Bay City a place where all residents feel at home, feel safe, can prosper economically, and can enjoy a high standard of living and an excellent quality of life. We need to ultimately give people a reason to stay in Bay City, and at the same time, give people a reason to make Bay City their new home. Bay City needs to be a community where everyone can live and enjoy a high standard of living, work, earn a living wage and beyond, and play, have access to recreation and wellness opportunities that leads to a very high quality of life. We have seen major population loss in the last half century, which has impacted the city at almost every level, which means a lot of work needs to be done. So first, Bay City needs to be an attractive place to live, and a place where all residents are supported and given the opportunity to live a healthy life. I desire, and I know you do too, all 32,000 residents of Bay City to live healthy lives in our community. Thousands already do. I'm one of them. However, we have 25% of our residents living in poverty. And of those in poverty, 35% are children. We can and we must do better. When we lift up the lowest and the most marginalized, everyone gets lifted up. Homelessness and unhoused individuals and families must be addressed. I know this has been a hot topic, previous meetings here. It is not as simple as just give them a place to live. A true, sustainable, structural solution is multifaceted and holistic. It must include addressing mental health issues, treating addiction, counseling, job skills training, and services to help people procure permanent housing and employment. And of course, addressing the housing issue for all levels of society, whether that's subsidized, affordable, market value. We're coming into the winter months as well. Many people are going to be needing assistance for heating, so getting them connected with organizations and programs that can help. And we have to mention, if we're talking about people living, the opiate epidemic that's ravaging our communities. This also must be a top priority for the sake of our citizens and our youth. Second would be work. Job opportunities, economic development that pays a living wage and beyond. So opportunities for economic development and advancement are needed. We know we have Bay Futures and others who are working hard to bring that to the region, but we need companies to see the benefit of locating in Bay City and this greater region so citizens have access to higher paying jobs. When people have good jobs, they buy houses, they pay for services, they shop in our stores, they visit restaurants, and they spend money in our community. And third, this needs to be a great place to play. Bay City residents should have access to recreation and wellness that promote a healthy life and a high quality of life. Parks, I know in the First Ward, Maplewood Park, absolutely amazing what's been done there. And we have Carroll Park and numerous others with playgrounds and paths and recreational opportunities, youth and adult programs, community pool. Barely passed the county level, but I'm thankful for that personally. Entertainment, restaurants, and shopping, but of course, we also have to acknowledge the main connector for all three of these, infrastructure. Infrastructure, which is a very important thing. We know we have a problem with our roads. I'm not going to rehash that tonight, but I know there's reports out saying the amount of money we need is just astronomical. Sidewalks. Many sidewalks are really just they're broken, they're dangerous, it impacts residents as they walk to stores, restaurants, appointments. And of course, the B word, we can't have an interview without the B word, our bridges. Right, when we moved to Bay City, we were kind of dropped right into this whole thing, but we found ourselves in an impossible situation a few years ago because no one had the foresight decades ago to plan. Now, they're a vital link to the various areas of our city and will always, whether we like it or not, always be a part of the daily life in Bay City. We need to take a hard look at our options now, whatever they may be, 4 to 5 years down the road when they're no longer free for city residents, and of course 75 years in the future where with inaction, our posterity will find themselves in the exact same scenario we found ourselves in. Problem solving is a messy business. Our collective thinking, however, should not be how do we solve each one of these things individually? We need to think holistically. How can many of these issues be addressed at once? How are they connected? How are they just interrelated? Solutions need to be both sustainable and inclusive of these issues as we plan for a Bay City for the future where all residents can live, work, and play well many decades past today.
Thank you. Next question. Do you have any personal priorities that you hope to accomplish as a member of the commission?
I'll say nothing selfish, but I know that I want to set a good example for my family, my own kids, and all my students. I know I put in my application, I'm a firm believer in putting your money where your mouth is. I know that many municipalities across the country are desperately needing citizens just to step up and be willing to participate in the process. Bay City is no exception. It's easy to be a bystander who complains about the city's problem. It seems to be Bay City's favorite pastime. I would like to be a part of the problem-solving process. And after having taught about U.S., state, local government for years, I want to take a step forward and be more involved in local government. My experiences as an educator will be invaluable to the problem-solving process, constituent relations, and the type of critical thinking that is needed to solve complex city problems. Overall, 2 big priorities are kind of collective as well. Number 1, work hard to address the issues we already know we have. And number 2, work hard to serve my constituency in the First Ward and address the concerns that they have specifically.
Thank you.
All right. As a candidate for the city commission, what skills, strengths, or traits do you bring to us to enhance your value to this body?
So working as an educator for over 20 years has given me many skills that are transferable to a role in government. Being a U.S. government teacher has helped me to gain deep knowledge of the role of government at all levels and how they should function, and especially, how they should be kept separate with local, county, state, etc. Managing a large number of students and parents is similar to managing the diverse interests and needs of constituents. A huge part of teaching is also bringing diverse opinions and ideas together to form a consensus based on compromise. I've been involved in many faculty leadership roles, boards, committees, et cetera, that really just take feedback and then form policy. Critical thinking and problem solving are two skills that I teach on an absolute daily basis. These skills are vital as a part of civic engagement and important to dealing with issues of all kinds, especially those of the city. The skill set of a professional educator is multifaceted and well-suited for many roles. This can include clear communicator with quick response time, handling conflict and disagreements, consensus building, motivation and being motivating, educating, problem solving, critical thinking, time management, and above all, being a good steward of the resources that we have available.
Thank you very much.
Are there any concerns or worries you have for the City of Bay City and serving on the commission?
So I know that this role oftentimes is thankless. There are many complaints and accusations, and I'm sure that can be really disheartening. I just hope my skin is thick enough, though 20 years of teaching teenagers probably is great preparation for a role like that. As far as conflicts of interest, I'm beholden to no one. I don't own any businesses. I don't have any big business dealings going on. I'm not entrenched in any political system. My focus has been family, students, classroom, and the various communities that I'm involved in.
All right, thank you. Can you tell us how you would learn of city residents' views on various issues in your ward?
Sure, and as I stated earlier, getting feedback is going to be very, very, very important to just the process of being transparent, accountable, and productive in local government. Being alive in 2024 means that social media plays a large part of our lives for better or for worse. There's many avenues for good with Facebook and Instagram and Nextdoor and other platforms. Email is always a great way to get feedback, the phone, walking the ward, meeting people. I think I've walked, biked, and jogged very slowly a good chunk of the first ward over the last few years. My goal, if I get this, would be to really knock on almost every single door that I can, introduce myself, and be very present. I love the idea, and I know a few of you have started doing this, public open houses and gatherings, especially ones that take place in our parks and businesses and restaurants, a chance to get to know people, but also support something locally as well. At the end of the day, I love talking to people, meeting new people. I live at 2175 4th Street. I have a front porch with some chairs, and I'm sure I can rustle up a beverage. Come talk to me.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for us?
Not any questions, just really a final comment that I truly believe, and I hope you do too, that every single person in this room, sitting up there, sitting behind me, wants what's best for Bay City. We don't always agree on what it is or how we're going to get there, but what is best for Bay City and its residents is always first and foremost. It's the motivating factor behind all decisions. When we don't agree, that's when the time for the dialogue, discussion, compromise, and consensus building takes place. Like any person in 2024 with internet and cell phone and a computer, I did a little Googling of my fellow candidates tonight, and I don't want to use the opponents because we're all neighbors in the first ward and want what's best, and this might make me like the worst politician ever, but I believe you have 4 absolutely solid choices tonight. Whoever is chosen, the first ward of Bay City will be in absolutely good hands. So thank you all for having us here tonight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Whittingham. I think the plan currently, depending on changes, is to move forward tonight, so please stick around. The next, actually, we'll give everybody a minute or so to collect your thoughts and notes and whatnot, and then we'll have Mr. Prince come up. Looks like everybody's done taking their notes. Thank you very much for coming tonight, Mr. Prince. I apologize for the delay, and Commissioner Clements has the first question. Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight and for your interest in being on the City Commission. Why are you interested in becoming a member of the Bay City Commission?
First, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to apply. I really appreciate it. And I know we're a little bit behind schedule, but I don't like to talk about myself. So I'll do my best to get us back on schedule. First things first, the reason why I'm applying today is I'm a lifelong resident of Bay City. I've always been proud to be from Bay City, and I just recently bought a home in the First Ward. I want to be a part of the positive trajectory of the city. I believe our better days are ahead. And I continue to believe that we will grow, but it will take a lot of work. It will take a lot of consensus building in this body and a lot of reaching out to our constituents, making sure they're on the same page and that we're moving and rowing in the same direction. So that's the reason why I want to apply and get this position. Thank you.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you for coming tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate that. Please discuss your experience with working with civic, community, or governmental organizations.
My entire career has been built around public leadership and being a servant. Previously, before my current role, I was a constituent affairs individual in the Michigan House of Representatives, helping individuals with their unemployment claims during the COVID-19 crisis. After that, I helped run vaccine clinics. And then following that, I worked at Saginaw Valley State University, where I was Assistant Director of Community Affairs. In that role, I helped the city with the sister city relationship with Ansbach. I served on numerous committees, like the Young Professionals Network, with the Bay Leadership, with Bay Chamber of Commerce. And in my current role, as a legislative director in the state Senate, I've also helped do reach out on behalf of our office. I've been part of leadership task force to develop policy, and I've also worked in caucuses to build coalitions and build consensus around different policy issues. So I think my experience is well suited for this position.
Thank you very much.
Okay, what do you perceive as your responsibilities to be as a member of the Bay City Commission?
I think the responsibilities of a commissioner are twofold. The first is to have trust with your constituents, to make sure that they understand the policies in which you promote and which you vote on, and to be an advocate for them on this commission. First and foremost, you are their voice. So always making sure you have an open line of communication and willing to meet them where they are and to offer constituent services where you need them. Secondly, it's to provide thoughtful leadership and planning for the city. Like the other applicant said, 75 years ago when the bridges got built, they might not have been thinking of what happens in 75 years. I think I can provide that kind of leadership in making sure that when we have investments in our infrastructure, that there's a long-term maintenance plan in that, and ensuring that we are not creating deficits down the road, but ensuring that everything we do is sustainable.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Prince, for applying. Based on your knowledge of the city, what do you feel that the top 3 priorities should be for the city, and how does that incorporate into your vision for Bay City over the next 10 years?
Yeah, so I think the number one issue for the city is population loss. We need a holistic strategy on attracting individuals and retaining the individuals we currently have, because we are losing about 1,000 individuals every couple of years. That is not sustainable, and that continues to create service loss for our citizens. A placemaking strategy to making sure our neighborhoods are well taken care of and attract young families would be my number one priority, because without population, we lose our tax base, our schools suffer, and our businesses don't have the talent or patrons to make it work. So that is number one. Number two, public safety. and making sure our staffing levels are adequate. Over the past summer, I toured two of the 4 fire stations. We need to invest heavily into them. One of them had black mold. It was pretty sad to see. I want to see investment there, and then additionally staffing. I was told that sometimes there's only 1 firefighter at each station for a 24-hour shift. I can't imagine that's good for their public health to be alone. Additionally, when they go out on those runs, on an ordinary run, they have to bring the engine with them. That is not cost effective for the city versus being able to use a utility vehicle. So I think staffing firefighters in the long run will save the city more money, and it will also employ someone in a dignified work. And then third is infrastructure and maintenance. I've said this previously in a previous question, but making sure that when we do investments in infrastructure, that it's sustainable and that there's an asset management plan along with it. The last thing I would want to do if I were on this board would be to saddle the next commission with any kind of deficits or anything like that. I know that we have money coming in from the bridge partners. We have money from the state. We have marijuana money, which when I read the budget, I think it was about $900,000 that still need to be allocated for infrastructure projects. I want to see that money be used for long-term projects and not just one-offs for ribbon cuttings, but actually see a sustainable path of using that money. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any personal priorities you hope to accomplish as a member of the City Commission?
Personal priorities, not really, other than addressing those 3 concerns I just laid before you. One thing that I have thought about quite a bit is returning the sidewalks program that we previously had in the city, where you were allowed, or where the city would come in, redo your sidewalk, and then you'd have a tax assessment on your property. I would look forward to working with city leadership on seeing what the cost of that would be and almost developing a revolving fund on it. I haven't been able to work on that since I'm not on this board, but I look forward to those future discussions and seeing if the infrastructure money we currently have would be able to go towards that.
Thank you. The next question, as a candidate for City Commission, what skills, strengths, traits do you bring to us that enhance your value to this body?
One, I do my homework. I read the entire commission packet every Sunday watching football, and I have a public policy background. I can understand the impacts that state policy might have or federal policy might have on the city and vice versa. And I feel like I bring a comprehensive look at things. Additionally, when I was at Saginaw Valley State University, I helped run the Henry Marsh Institute for Public Policy, which brought together a diverse cohort of individuals throughout the Great Lakes Bay region and helped build consensus around certain issues, whatever we were taking up that night. I would look at this role as the same way of building consensus among all of our members to make sure that we're all rowing in the same boat and to make sure that the citizens are on board with it with transparency and trust.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Burney has indicated that she would like to join into the rotation. Commissioner Burney, we are on question 7.
Hello. Let's see here. Are there any concerns or worries you have for the city of Bay City in serving the commission?
My number one concern, like I said before, was population loss. Making sure that we can reverse that trend and so that way we can provide adequate services for our citizens. And additionally, retaining and attracting population helps all our businesses and it helps the entire region. So that would be number one for me.
Okay, thank you.
Tell us how you would learn of your residents' views of issues in your ward.
My plan, if I am selected to be on this board, would be to go door to door. And I'm not saying starting in June or July after a couple months. I'm saying in January. I would go during the winter and go door to door. I've already bought in the hand warmers just in case. But I also would look for social media, making sure that my social media would be open, available. And when I go door to door, I would have whatever I'm carrying, my phone number and my email, so that way they can feel free to contact me at any point. Social media, Facebook, and then I would also have coffee hours or an open house or something of that sort where people can schedule time with me, go one-on-one with whatever their issue is to make sure that they feel like they've been heard and that they have a voice in City Hall.
Thank you very much.
Do you have any questions for us?
I do not. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to apply, and I just would like to say all the other individuals who have applied are more than qualified, and my heart is very big right now knowing that we have a couple individuals who are more than qualified for this, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prince. And as I said to Mr. Winningham, I think we're going to make a decision tonight, so please stick around. I'll give everybody a minute or so to collect your thoughts, and then we have Mr. Greenleaf, and we'll be starting with Commissioner Gerard.
All right, thank you, Mr. Greenleaf, for applying. So the first question is, why are you interested in becoming a member of the Bay City Commission?
I just want to say thank you guys for inviting me here tonight for this interview. I want to be a part of this commission. I've been a lifelong resident of the First Ward. I was born and raised on 2nd Street, reside now on Helen Street. My wife and I have always lived in the First Ward. Our first apartment was on Woodside Lane. I want to bring my values to the commission to promote the projectile to the future of the city. I think with my experience on different boards with the city, being a zoning commissioner for the last, I think it's now 10, 12 years, been on a couple other committees with the city, the Compensation Commission. So I think my knowledge of the city and the process, I would be a valued candidate for the position.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for coming in this evening. Please discuss your prior experience working with civic, community, or governmental organizations.
As I just stated, I've been on the Zoning Board of Appeals with the city for 10 plus years. My attendance to those are almost 100%. I bring my knowledge from leadership inside the school systems within the city of Bay City, where I was a past union president for one of the entities of Bay City Public Schools. I now work for a management firm with the state of Michigan and public transportation for schools with Dean Management. Oversee different school districts, including Bay City Public Schools as a management firm, Bay Aranac ISD, Saginaw Township Community Schools, and Saginaw ISD.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight. What do you perceive your responsibilities to be as a member of the Bay City Commission?
I think reputation, having a good reputation, being very transparent with the constituents of the city, listening to all sides, getting a good objective of the city, listening to the people of the city and projecting their voice, because will be their voice for the decisions that are made within the city.
Thank you.
Based on the knowledge of the city, what do you feel the top 3 priorities should be for the city, and how does that incorporate into your vision for the Bay City over the next 10 years?
My first one would be housing. I do have a background, and I'm actually a managing broker of Real Estate One, Great Lakes Bay, here in Bay City. I do see the need of affordable housing for our middle-class residents. We have to bring more housing for them. We have a high poverty rate. I see that within the side of the schools, as one of the other candidates said tonight. I think we have an obligation to our citizens to provide good housing. My second objective is public safety. My father actually is a retired Bay City police officer of 26 years. So I hear, my son is actually, my youngest son, Nicholas, is in the police academy for Michigan State Police. And so I think public safety is number one. I think we have a duty to our citizens to provide good crime prevention, fire prevention, and health care within the system. Second, my third is health care. I think sustaining a good health system inside this city to prevent any loss of jobs. As we know, McLaren Bay region is our health provider. My wife is actually in management with the hospital. She's worked there for 27 years in the operating room. So I think building a good partnership with healthcare to provide good, healthy responsibilities for our citizens, making sure our children are taken care of with vaccines, our public and our people can get good, adequate health care as needed within the city. And working with a health system is what that takes to provide citizens with good health care.
Thank you.
Do you have any personal priorities that you hope to accomplish as a member of the City Commission?
Back to affordable housing. I think our city is in need of affordable housing for our citizens. And in order to attract new citizens to our area, we have to have that value of a good market and for that medium housing price. I see it every day. I mean, we have people coming here. I've personally sold 72 houses in the First Ward in my last 25 years of being a real estate broker here in the city. So I have brought in 72 families into the First Ward. And with the medium house price right now in the First Ward is between $130,000 and $195,000. With some upper part, up into the 300,000s in certain areas where condos are. My second is, like I said, crime prevention. We're seeing up numbers of crime in the area. I think, staffing levels need to be addressed inside the police department, the fire department. I think there should be a clear distinction between the two, coming from a son of a police officer. When my father retired, that's when the merger was happening with the public safety in the area.
Thank you very much.
As a candidate for City Commission, what skills, strengths, or traits do you bring to us that enhance or value to this body?
I think my experience as one of the zoning commissioners for the city, we take on tough topics every month, allowing businesses, residents to grow. I think on that commission has taught me process and to be objective, to listen to the residents when they come and speak for us or they contact us, and going out to meet the people of the city when we're making decisions on their personal properties for, say, fences, garages, sheds, or changing the zoning regulations to allow a business to go into an obsolete building to grow, to improve the tax base of the city, to bring more residents to the city.
All right. Are there any concerns or worries you have for the city of Bay City and serving on this commission?
My worry is, keeping the city projecting in a positive outcome. Our perception of the city needs to grow and to advance, to attract new residents, new businesses to the community. So that'd be my number one concern, is making sure that the commission as a whole, the city as a whole, has a positive attitude for the city and promote the excellent place this is to raise a family and to bring a business.
Tell us how you would learn of city residents' views on various issues in your ward.
I'm a very big proponent of thinking that you should be available. Open houses, I'm big on that with real estate. You can promote open houses or open forums within the parks of the First Ward. We have many great outdoor venues within the First Ward to meet our constituents, many restaurants, bars, and just getting out to know people. Go door to door, knock, and listen. Make yourself available by phone, email, to listen to their concerns, and take time to listen to their concerns and get back to them within a timely manner. And when we bring up topics within the city, to make sure that their views are addressed outside of your own personal feelings.
And finally, do you have any questions for us?
No, I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity to have this interview tonight. And just want to recap, you know, I've been a lifelong resident of the First Ward, always been in the First Ward since the day I was born on Christmas Eve back in 1975. I have 2 sons that are lifelong residents of the city, of the First Ward. Very proud of my 2 boys. And I think doing this will make the city proud, my family proud, and keep a positive attitude going for the city. And with my experience as, you know, like I said, the zoning commissioner for so long, you know, I've learned the objective opinions that of our citizens that really do matter.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Greenleaf. As I said to the other commissioner, or the other applicants, please stick around. Thank you. Give everyone a minute or so to collect your thoughts and notes, and we will have our final applicant, Mr. Silva, come up. Looks like everybody's done writing. Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Silva. Commissioner Burney is going to start our questions. Thank you.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well.
Why are you interested in becoming a member of the Bay City Commission?
My fellow candidates and I are passionate about Bay City. We would agree that it's our duty. We want to give back and that we care about the direction the city is going in. I am interested in being a commissioner because I want to be more than what is expected of me as a resident and step up into this leadership role and serve my ward for the next 2 years.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir, and thank you for your time. Please discuss your prior experience with civic, community, and governmental organizations.
I am proud to say that I am an Eagle Scout from Bay City, Michigan, part of Troop 108. That has been the highest achievement of my life thus far, and probably is going to be the highest achievement I have ever received. Achieving this highest rank in scouting, I had to demonstrate leadership skills, volunteer my time. I had to earn merit badges such as first aid and public speaking. That demonstrates my knowledge. I also had to complete an Eagle Scout project, which took a lot of time and effort. My Eagle Scout project, I constructed tables and benches that were located at the Friendship Shell in Bay City in 2015. Recently, I served my community by being a poll worker in the 2024 election, where I saw over 5,000 people come through. My favorite civic activity that I just completed last week was being a part of the Citizen Public Safety Academy put on by the Bay City Department of Public Safety. This 10-week course gave me insight to various aspects of what our police and firefighters are doing for our town.
Thank you. What do you perceive your responsibilities to be as a member of the Bay City Commission?
Patience, as well as actively listening to my fellow people in the First Ward to what frustrations they might be experiencing, and encourage the residents to participate in different functions our city is providing. Make the informed choice to what I am hearing from what their residents need or want.
All right, thank you, Mr. Silva, for applying. So based on your knowledge of the city, what do you feel are the top 3 priorities should be for the city, and how does that incorporate into your vision for Bay City over the next 10 years?
The top 3 priorities that I felt passionate about for the next 2 years is increase the pride of being associated with the First Ward and being overall prideful of being a Bay City resident. My second priority is to inform the ward of resources that are offered to each of them for their needs. And third, bring out the best that they can be.
Thank you. Do you have any personal priorities that you hope to accomplish as a member of the City Commission?
Yes. I want to make people aware they are the leaders of today, because it is up to each person to show up to their outlets if they want a positive change to come to their surrounding environment. I would like to be just a stepping stone for the next commissioner when they step up in 2 years.
Thank you. As a candidate for City Commission, what skills, strengths, or traits do you bring that enhance your value to this body?
I would like to say that I am young. I have still a full head of hair. Also, I would like to say that I'm a sponge, and I'm trying to soak up as much information as possible to make the informed decisions. I'm always asking the why questions. Why exactly is this happening? Why is that happening? So on and so forth. I'm also flexible. I can imagine that things don't always go as planned. I can imagine that somebody just brings something on you in the last minute. It happens. And so I'd like to say that I'm pretty flexible. And so in those moments, I like to keep calm, talk it through, and that's as far as I know about that. And then I would also like to say that I'm optimistic. I always like to try new things. I always try my best to have a positive attitude. And I'd say it's pretty affectionate. And that's just a little bit about my skills and traits.
It's me again. I think you're perfect. I think you have heart, and I just want to tell you that you're worthy. Are there any concerns and worries you have for the city of Bay City in serving on the commission?
I don't have any concerns about myself being a part of the commission.
All right, thank you.
Tell us how you would learn of city residents' views on issues in your ward.
I would show up to local Bay City events. I would keep getting myself involved in the town. Just tomorrow, I'm actually going to the Michigan Sugar to do a little tour there, which I'm pretty excited about. I would keep myself open-minded to where I possibly will bump into people. It could be at a Menards, I don't know, and what they will want to talk about.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for us?
No, not at this time. I appreciate your time and patience with me tonight.
Thank you. As I said to the other applicants, we will probably make a decision. Please stick around. And you are absolutely right about Menards. I have run into many, many, many constituents at Menards over the years. Okay, so We'll take 10 minutes or so. If the commissioners would like to tally their scores, just a reminder on how this works. It is a ranked choice process. Your highest scored applicant gets 4 points, second gets 3 points, third gets 2 points, and fourth gets 1 point. Everybody was fantastic. It takes a lot of bravery to come up and do a job interview in front of an audience, so I appreciate everyone that came up and stuck their neck out tonight. So if you will get me those scores, and then just like last time and the time before and the time before, I will get them to the clerk, and the clerk will have them published somewhere available for people who are curious. We'll make a recommendation. Any questions before we go into recess?
Okay, we're going to recess now.
Yeah, we'll go into recess for 10 minutes.
All right, thank you.
It's 7:10, we'll come back at 7:20.
.706 on